Yo, what's up, YouTube? So, listen, today we're gonna talk about a very special list. So, late last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that, ESPN FC released 25 best players of the century. Bro, like there's always gonna be disagreements when it comes to that list. There's always gonna be disagreements because what I value as an overall player might be different than what you value, right? So it's always gonna be different. But that list was straight trash, bro. I was about to print it and go straight to the bathroom, bro, on a Wednesday right after the meanest Taco Tuesday of your life. It was horrible. Okay, so we about to do the top 25 players of the 21st century. Now, listen, like it just said, everyone's list is a little different, so there's gonna be some controversy here. But listen, man, drop a comment, tell me where I fucked up, tell me where you think a player should be at if he's not there, and yeah, let's start getting some people mad. All right, so in 25, it's gonna be none other than our boy Dani Alves. Now, listen, serial winner, no matter where he went. Started off in Spain and Sevilla, and bro, just went winning nonstop everywhere he went. So as far as that, his winning culture is undeniable, and that's something that not a lot of players have. And when you talk about Dani Alves, you just talk about just winning. Um, and I normally, I would understand why people think that he should be higher up than that. But when I mention the other people on the list, I think you'll understand why he's there, and also realize just how many players there we've been, blessed to see during our lifetime. Um, but yeah, so he's a serial winner everywhere he's went. His playing style is amazing. He repped it up for every club that he played in, as well as Brazil. Nothing has changed as far as that goes. Sorry about that. But yeah, so 24 is gonna be none other than my favorite player of all time, Marcelo. Yo, listen. Obviously, just because he's my favorite player of all time doesn't mean he's the best, but I do still think he's a solid 24 spot. His what he did with the ball and his feet, man, was magical. Now, the thing is, this isn't coming from someone who loved him his entire career. I did not turn a blind eye. The beginning of his career, especially his first few years in Madrid, he struggled, man. He struggled. And he used to foul people left and right. It looked like he was gonna be like a mini version of Pepe or Ramos. It was bad. It was really bad. But once he started getting the playing time, once he started, once he got his feet the way that he wanted to get them as far as playing style, man, there was no stopping him. There was no stopping him. Undeniably the best left back in the world. Not for a huge extended period of time, which is why he's not higher up on the list. It was, I want to say, maybe 5, 6, 7 years of, dude. Like there was nobody else. There was nobody else who would even compare to that. Um, and yeah, man. Aside from that, his heart, his passion. Every time he left the field, I knew that he gave it everything he had, everything he had, and you can't say that for a lot of players. You really can't. And his passion, his love for the game, like you just felt it. So yeah, to me, he's my favorite player of all time because of a combination of all that: his skill, his passion, his love for it. Um, but regardless, he should be 24 spot, regardless of how I feel about it. I truly believe that. All right, next up, baby, is someone who's still playing. Obviously, a lot of these players, I don't know what you said that, a lot of these players still playing, but it's gonna be Kevin De Bruyne. Yo, this kid was underlooked at his entire career. Like I know, Chelsea has gotta be, they gotta be go around choking at least one person a day for the rest of their existence for letting this kid go the way that they let him go. You know, and they let him go to Wolfsburg, and then Pep got him from Wolfsburg. So it's not like another team saw exactly how great he was, because even at that point, if teams really knew how good he was going to be, if he wouldn't have gone to Wolfsburg. No hate to Wolfsburg, but it's crazy. So up until he and I do think Pep is overrated overall, but I gotta give him credit, man. He saw what he was capable of. He brought him over here. He molded him. Right now, he's arguably the best midfielder in the world. I and Rodri be ahead of him. Cruz left on a huge high note. But I'm pressed to name a better midfielder in the world at the moment. Okay, after that's gonna be your boy El Gato, Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner. Yo, listen, as an overall striker, right, as a whole package, I think he is the second best of the entire, or no, actually the third best of an entire generation. And the things that, again, the things that he did with the ball was for like that one play against Atletico Madrid. I know if you know, you know the one I'm talking about, man. To be able to do that with that much space, where you were doing it in the situation that it was with that much pressure, bro. Like it's unheard of, bro. Like it's crazy. It's one of the craziest plays that I've seen. He didn't end up scoring the goal. It's just the play, and that's what makes him so great. It's not like, yes, you know what, he did struggle with goals in the in while he was surrounded by both by Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, one of those three was gonna have to take the L and score the least amount of goals. It just happened to be Benzema. You know, but overall, since Ronaldo left, he showed up until he left Madrid, he showed exactly who he was, exactly why Madrid bought him, exactly why he was a serial winner in Lyon. Because people forget his time in Lyon. Like, he won multiple championships in a row, and he wasn't, at the beginning, obviously he was coming off the bench, but by the end he definitely was not coming. He was not coming off the bench as a regular player in Lyon. He just wasn't. It was incredible. All right, so the next two to me could be interchanged. They could be interchanged, and I personally have. So I'm gonna mention both at the same time. I personally have Carlos Puyol, and then Sergio Ramos a little bit above him. Listen, there's not a lot of players in Barcelona's history, and as great as they've been, that I could go through and say, you know what, I would have wanted him on that team in that specific point in time. Like Messi, right? Messi is better than Cristiano Ronaldo. That's it. Like, there's no argument. He's just better. But for the team structure that we had in that point in time, Messi wouldn't fit. Ronaldo was the better option. And for me, I think that's the case between Puyol and Sergio Ramos. Like, for Barcelona, that you guys needed a Puyol. You needed a leader, because while you obviously have different captains, man, like I just don't think, and I think most Barcelona fans would actually agree with that. Even Messi as a captain did not have the same aura as Puyol had as a captain. He's the only player from that point in time where I would have been like, you know what, let's sign him. I want him. I want him. And even though it kills me to say, imagine a partnership between Ramos and Puyol at club level. Come on, bro. Come on. That's insane. And that's not to mention Ramos, which, like I mentioned, I have a little bit above him. And it's because of everything, man. He could get you goals, but he could get you goals when they mattered. He didn't get you empty goals when you're up 3-4, 3-4, when you're up by 3 or 4 goals, and then he just goes and he scores the fifth one. No, like, they're actually goals that matter, and and they were extremely important goals, and he does that. But he's also a great defender. I think people underrate him as a defender. He's not as great, and this is where I think it's a fair comparison, because as a straight defender, if you were telling me I need someone to stop that ball from going into the goal, and I need him to get through one person, I'd pick Puyol. I 100% would pick Puyol. But as a whole package, as a whole player, I think Ramos was better. Yes, my man fucking lives in red cards, but that's what you get for him. And he's honestly, man, he's worth it, because his leadership too is not that far away from Puyol as far as that goes. Like, he's my capitano. To me, he's been the best captain that we've had the entirety of the century, and that's a lot. That's a lot, considering to say that the two captains before him were Iker Casillas and Raul. That like it's no easy feat. But that's honestly how I feel about that. All right, so right above that, baby, is someone who I think goes a little bit under the radar, considering it was at this point well over 10 years ago. But hey, man, we're still in 2000, and that's Paul Scholes. Yo, Paul Scholes ran that Man United midfield that was so dominant. That was so dominant from early 2000s until when Fergie left. And yeah, other teams won, right? You got your Chelsea was in there, he won. Man City won a title, but there's no question that Man United was that dominant team during that point in time, And Scholes ran that midfield. And there's a quote by Zinedine Zidane, who is my personal GOAT, which says, somebody asked him, like, yo, like, how did you feel to be the best midfielder in the world? He was like, yo, I don't know. Go ask Paul Scholes. You know, to get that kind of praise from Zidane is it's not easy, but it was definitely well deserved. Because when you see him play, man, the passes he makes are like Kevin De Bruyne, the things he sees, like it's like a mix of like Xavi, Iniesta, and Kevin De Bruyne to me. You know, but he ran that midfield, and I don't think he gets the love he deserves. Above him, we have the one and only baby Tony Cruz. Now he just retired this year at the ripe age of 34, after having one of the best seasons of his entire career. Come on, at 34 he just retires. What a fucking way to go! What a way to go, and well deserved, man. Like he was even more silent than Modric. You never really were able to see everything that he did on the field, but once you took him out, all right, so you couldn't see everything he did on the field while he was on the field. If you took him out, completely different engine. Completely different engine. It doesn't run the same way. Nothing moves the same way. Nothing was the same when he wasn't on the field. And even though we have all these youngsters and all these players right now that are good enough for the first team, they are not Tony Cruz. It's going to take some time for our midfield to recover. I don't think it'll take crazy, honestly. I think by mid-season we'll have a good, solid midfield. Um, and by then he'll be not truly replaced, but we'll have someone in place who we'll see like, all right, that's the Cruz from the future. But it's gonna take some time, man. He was a hit, and yeah, man, a quiet engine of the team, and I honestly don't know what Bayern were doing letting him go for that much money. I believe if it wasn't 25 million, it was 35. Which, when you think about how much bro, like, look at Enzo, bro. Look at Enzo. Look at Moses Caicedo. Bayern did not believe in this guy, and they let him go for at the max 35. And I'm sorry, because I really am blanking out. It was either him or Modric were 25 and 35 respectively. I'm just blanking out on them. Right? But above that, we have the one and only God, Zlatan. Listen, he was a machine. Very similar to Alves. No matter where he went, he won. With the exception of MLS, but MLS for a reason. But you know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere he went, he won, and you always knew what Zlatan was thinking. He didn't hold anything back. But aside from that, man, the goals that he provided, some of them were just fucking magical, and it's same thing. Like, I feel like he doesn't get the love he deserves because he went through so many teams, bro. Like, he steamrolled through teams like it was nothing. But then it's very rare to have somebody who played for both Inter and AC Milan be known, be loved by both teams, and Juve and Juve. The hell, I'm forgetting Juve. He played for him too, So it's amazing. Above that is somebody who I also do think goes under the radar, because he didn't win as much as he could have won if he left his team, and that's Francesco Totti. We all know. Listen, the two things that you do not question about Totti is his love for Rome and his love for Roma. Because, bro, like, he had offers from a whole bunch of different clubs, and Madrid included, and he said no. And it wasn't because we didn't want him, it wasn't because he tried, it wasn't because he cost too much money. Like, he just said no. He thought about it, I think, for a little bit, and he was like, my love for Roma is too much. But everyone acknowledges how good of a talent he is, because to be headhunted by the top clubs in the world, and all of them wanting you, not just because there's some moves out there that have been made throughout football history that have just been petty, right? Like, now, like, the best one that turned out to be amazing is Di Stefano with Real Madrid and Barcelona. If you don't know that, we'll talk about that in another video. I plan on talking about it. But that was a petty move that Madrid ended up winning, and it went great. It went fucking great. But so, like, nobody wanted him just to be petty or something. They wanted him. They wanted him bad. You know what I mean? But yeah. So above that, we have Paolo Maldini. Yo, listen, go defender. That's it. Not much. My man would have covered. He would have covered the oceans if he had to. It's amazing. So not much to talk about there. Just go defender. Next is Claude Makélélé. Listen, Claude Makélélé went. So Zidane once said that that Madrid sold the engine trying to paint over with another layer of gold, a Ferrari. What he meant by that is we sold Claude Makélélé in order to be able to bring and afford David Beckham. We didn't need Beckham. As good as Beckham was, we did not need another attacking player in that team. We did, however, need a pivot. And we ended up letting go of one of the best pivots of all time. There's a reason why they call that role the Makelele role. It's because he made it his own. He made it his own, and we took a huge L when we sold him. And he went on to prove it. He went on to prove it. You know, he Chelsea, Milan, everywhere he went, he won. After that, while we were stuck in an area of where we had big names like the original Galacticos, they weren't, as much as they were great, they weren't serial winners. You know, they achieved, they underachieved, and it's crazy to think how much they would have won if they just kept that one player. You know. Next is Kaká. Kaká, man, as much as I love my Madrid, Mourinho destroyed him. Destroyed him, man. Like, he got injured. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault he got injured. But that injury made him never be the same. Mourinho lost faith in him, and it did not go well. But before that, man, to this day, he has one of the best goals. The goal against, oh, God, what was it? I think it was Man City in the Champions League. You guys know the one I'm talking about. But, man, it was, oh, God, what a beauty, dude. You have to watch it. You have to. I'll find something. I'll put a link in the description. You could watch that goal. But, bro, amazing. And he, you know, it's OG Brazilian tiki taka. He had that. He has that magic in him, and it was just a shame the way his career turned out, man. He would have been so great. Next is Andrei Shevchenko. In the world where people just look at goal numbers because we've been spoiled by Messi and Ronaldo, people forget how good Andrei Shevchenko was. He was a machine. He was a machine. Every time he was on the field, he produced in one way or another. It's just a shame what happened with the injuries, you know. Like, sometimes you can't control that. Sometimes you can't control that. But he was still able to achieve so much before any of that stuff, before any of that shit happened. And it was one of those players, man. Like, you gotta look back and think, damn, like what could have been, you know. But you know, he still accomplished what he accomplished. Still a legendary player, a little bit underappreciated in my opinion, but amazing. So now, okay, so now at 11, before we get to the top 10, yeah, I was counting. Okay, I was counting. Okay, all right. So at 11 we have Luis Suarez. Now listen, even though my man likes to bite people for fun, right, and he'll probably munch on you if he has a chance, he is such a good striker. And just like Benzema, man, like, if he can create plays for himself, he doesn't need anybody else. That's what's wrong with a player like Haaland. You know, he was a goal machine, but give him the ball in the middle of the park, what's it gonna do? You can't really do nothing. Now, Benzema is like this, but Suarez was on a whole different level, man. Like, he was able to create shots for everybody. Everybody ate while he was on the field, as well as trust me, he ate too, bro. He ate too. And again, like, that's someone who I think goes underappreciated just based on numbers, because we look at Messi's numbers and we look at Ronaldo's numbers and we're like, yo, like, come on. And in a way, I think they kind of ruined, you know, that whole aspect for a lot of players, because most people are going to be, the expectation for a while is going to be that, you know. And it's not fair for a lot of these players, because that's unnatural stuff, the stuff that Messi and Ronaldo were able to do. But Suarez, man, machine. And right entering to crack 10 is the third pivot in that front line, which is Neymar. Listen, whatever happened to his career, as sad as it's been, he did it to himself. You know, when he went to Barcelona, I had a conversation with my boy Jorge. I mentioned him before about him being the heir to Messi. And coincidentally, it was right around the time Bale came to Madrid too. And we were talking about them being the heirs. I was like, bro, like, they're not gonna be the heirs. The age gap is too small for them to be an heir. I'm like, something's not gonna work out with both of them, with both Ronaldo and Bale in Madrid, and Neymar and Messi at Barcelona. Now, I think Neymar took the worst hit out of all of them, because he didn't want to be in the backseat. He wanted the limelight, and I just don't think it worked out. I don't think. No, I don't know. A lot of people know that it didn't work out, and it's just a shame as to how his career ended. But there's no denying his skill. There's no denying his passion for the game. Even though, you know, sometimes he was out partying when he shouldn't have to, but he still has passion for the game. And man, like, people forget what this kid did at Santos. Like, he won Player of the Tournament in the Club World Cup. I know it's the Club World Cup, but it was against Barcelona. and it was against 2011 Barcelona, which I personally think is better than '09, even though '09 obviously won the treble, and the 2011 team didn't. But I personally think the 2011 team was the better overall Barcelona team, and yeah, man, like he owned it. It's just a shame, man. So the next two spots, right? We're gonna have them because they could go either way, which is Xavi and Iniesta. Listen, inarguably the best midfield duo of all time. Can't really say shit. Diehard Madrid fan. What am I gonna say? As far as the duo goes, unbeatable. The way they played off of each other, the things they did with the ball, the way they opened up the entirety of the field, they changed the whole generation. They helped change it. Like Pep might have had the idea in his head, but he can't properly execute it without Xavi and Iniesta. He just can't do it. And there was this memes that Messi couldn't do shit without Xavi and Iniesta. I don't believe that, but the evidence is there, man. The evidence is there. They haven't won a Champions League since Xavi left in 2015. And what a way to go, by the way. What a way to go. I think Cruz left in a positive way because he retired. I think it's a little bit better. Xavi just went to, I think he went to Saudi Arabia first. Well, whatever. But he left winning a treble. And you take any one of them out, and I just don't think that Barcelona team is the same at all. At all. And that's why they deserve to be up there. Now, this is going to be a little controversial because the one... So whatever. Above him, Luka Modric. That's right. The GOAT, Modric. Underappreciated. Voted the Liga's worst signing of the season when he came over. Dude, this man has defied everything. Everything. He's 39 years old, still playing. He's still going to be starting some games for Madrid at 39 years old. Not a regular starter, per se, but that's still incredible to think. By 39 years old, everyone on this list has been or will be retired, with the exception of Zlatan. That's insane. And he won a Ballon d'Or. I believe he earned it. A lot of people disagree. I believe he did. I think I can make a solid argument for that. But the stuff, and the stuff he did. Croatia, second place in the World Cup. And he was the leader during the golden generation. Don't tell Rakitic is not on the same level as Modric. He was an integral part of that team, but he's no Luka Modric. And even though I believe he's better than Xavi and Iniesta and Xavi were better together than him and Cruz were. Kills me to say it, but I do believe that. But as an overall package, I do believe he was the best midfielder of the 21st century overall. And man, he's a little magician, man. Love watching him play every single time. Next up, baby, we have an Arsenal and Barcelona legend, Thierry Henry. Yo, listen, Mbappe's not on this list because he's just too young. He's too young, 25. He's won a shitload of stuff. The most important one being obviously the World Cup and leading France to the final in the last one. But at a club level, man, I can't give him that considering it was PSG, man. Considering it's in France and the team that he had and what they should have accomplished together, Mbappe's not on this list. But to make that long story short, Henry's on his list because he was Mbappe. But as of now, he's a better version of Mbappe. The speed, the agility, everything that Mbappe does with his feet, Thierry Henry did before that, and arguably better. But the thing is, they both have the World Cup. He's very unlucky to not have won a Ballon d'Or. You can't really say that about Mbappe. He hasn't deserved it at all. And he last person to win, or part of the last team to win, the league title with Arsenal, and UCL winner repeatedly with Barcelona. As far as every other trophy goes, like he's won everything there is to win. He's accomplished everything Mbappe wants to accomplish, and that's why he's on there. Now, next up, baby, the GOAT of Brazil, 21st century, Ronaldinho. Yo, this. You want someone to play with flair? You want someone to do shit with the ball you've never seen before, bro? Go to Ronaldinho. This man had fun every single time he stepped on the field. Every single time. Man, it always blew you away. Like, his ability with the ball on his feet is overall, I think, is unmatched. Yes, even by Messi. Now, next up, like I said, is who I think is the best player of all time is Zinedine Zidane. Listen, if it wasn't for that headbutt, a lot of people would have him on number one. I firmly believe that because then he would have just added another World Cup, in in his pocket, and he would have been arguably the best player on both teams, right? Incredible. Won the UCL with Madrid. Obviously, he went to a few different finals with Juve. But overall, man, the difference between him and Ronaldinho is that while Ronaldinho was flair, Zidane was just quiet finesse. He didn't do shit that made the whole entire stadium stand up, but he would do stuff that would just take your breath away, man. And it's incredible, man. It was amazing. Now, these next was probably going to be very highly controversial because on number three, I have Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, look at his skills. Look at what he's done. Look at his trophy cabinet. Look at his accomplishments. Look at what he's won. It's inarguable. He is one of the best players ever of all time. Now, I personally think he ruined it by always wanting to be the main man. I think he would have been more than fine, even coming back to Madrid when we needed a backup striker, but just being able to accept the fact he was coming off the bench. He was not going to be the main player anymore. And he just couldn't accept it. So that's why he's in the situation where he is now, which is unfortunate, but there's no arguing his skill, man. His skill, his mentality. And the thing is, he's more of even though Messi's a better player, who has more influence? Because it's not Messi, it's Ronaldo. And you have all these young players, most of them, yes, a lot of people say that they like Messi, but for the most part, it's going to be Ronaldo. It not everyone, you see kids on the street playing soccer, most of them are doing Ronaldo celebration, not doing Messi's. So his influence on the game has been incredible and nothing but positive. Above that, I have the greatest what-if story in the history of football, Ronaldo Nazario. Listen, what this guy was capable of doing with the ball, it's you cannot explain it. You just can't. If he did not have arguably the worst, and the only reason why I say worst, arguably worst, is because the doctor said he's never seen anything like that. It's like his knee exploded, and it's very possible if he did not get that injury, he'd easily be going down as the best player of all time. Youngest player to this day to win the Ballon d'Or. He won the World Cup 2 times. And, dude, the only thing he didn't win is one of those weird situations where he didn't win a Champions League. He couldn't. Like I mentioned before, he was in Madrid right after we won the Champions League in '02. But by then, it was just a whole bunch of stars. We just had star power back then. We didn't have a good team. And unfortunately, robbed them of being able to win a UCL. It did. Same, by the time he got to Milan, how it was, I believe, '09. They were past their best. They already won their last UCL in '07, so he couldn't get a chance there either. But overall, man, it's beautiful to watch. If you go watch his clips, man, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. This guy was destined to be the best player of all time, and unfortunately, destiny itself got in the way. Man, it's sad. But he honestly, I firmly believe he would have been the best player of all time. Next, and certainly not least, is Lionel Messi. Listen, diehard Madrid fan. I hate Barcelona to its core. I believe that they were a medium-sized club until Ronaldinho came in. I believe they're going to be a medium-sized club in a few years' time. But Messi, man, Messi's just inarguable. I don't think he's the greatest player of all time. But as far as, like, if you tell me that's what you think, that's fine. Because I'm very hard pressed to find an argument against it. It's just, to me personally, I don't think he is. But in the 21st century, as far as just this little area of time, it's inarguable. What are you gonna say? He's won 3 international trophies back to back after going the entirety of the first part of his career, just eating shit and taking shit for not winning anything. Now like the last team to do that was Spain, to win three big international tournaments back to back, and people say that that's arguably the greatest team of all time. I don't think this Argentina team is better than that, but it should definitely be in the conversation for it, and he's a main part of that. Even if he doesn't score in all the finals, he's a big integral part as to why they even get there. And to be the main piece in one of the best golden generations in a club's history, a golden generation that made the club who it is today. Because let me tell you guys, if Barcelona did not enter that golden generation, we don't talk about Barcelona the same way that we talk about Barcelona today. We just don't. And he was the main piece. He allowed them to be who they are today. And he deserves all the praise he got. Yes, he's robbed a few Ballon d'Ors. At the very least, he didn't deserve 3 of them. And even then, if you take away 3 Ballon d'Ors from him, and the one that I don't believe Ronaldo won or deserved, the one he took from Ribery, he still has the most Ballon d'Ors. That's fucking insane. That's insane. But alright, guys, I've been blabbing on for way too long. I hope some of you guys at least stayed on for at least this part, But yeah, guys, so like I said, so just tell me what I fucked up on. Tell me what you would change. Tell me who you think your GOAT is. Did I get most of it right, most of it wrong? Anybody else that I completely forgot about, just let me know. But alright, guys, to the next one. Latest.